All right, well, let's have a look at this now. We know that Arsenal's defense was recently breached at the weekend in what was such an entertaining game against Sunderland. And just have a look at some of the I suppose you could talk about the records that Arsenal were putting in terms of that defense. 10-game winning streak in all competitions snapping. It was the first time that they conceded 2 goals since May 11th against Liverpool. Well, our Rodra from ESPN, he managed to catch up with David Raya, and this is what he had to say.
Is that the first team that could sort of match Arsenal's physicality?
I think in the Premier League anyone can match the physicality. It's just the way they play, the way they approach the game, and they know their strengths. They just come up from the Championship, and obviously that league is very, very physical. So no, it's just credit to them. They're doing a really, really good season. Where they haven't lost a game at home, and they've been beaten and gained points from the big teams. So full credit to Sunderland. They're a tough team to beat.
What's like playing behind this current Arsenal backline, and what makes them so difficult to get past?
Well, I think the difficulty is that we love to defend. The love of defending, the love of not conceding, not even goals, not just chances, trying to stop the teams further up the pitch with the pressing that we do. And then if they push us back into a low block, it's just that love of defending to not let the ball go into the box.
Which of Arsenal's new signings have you been most impressed by, and why?
I think Martin Zubimendi, is a player that is very, very clever. He adapted very, very well into the league, where there's a lot of players that it take a little bit longer to adapt, and especially in his role, he's just adapted so quick, and you can see what he does for the team.
How impressed have you been by Max Dowman, and what's like sharing a dressing room with a 15-year-old?
He's 15, he's turning 16 at the end of the year, and he's incredible. Obviously, we don't share that much in the dressing room because he's not allowed with the rules and everything. But sharing the pitch is the maturity that he shows on the pitch, the willingness that he has to just to enjoy and to be himself, to take on players, and always with a smile on his face is incredible. Seeing we've been training with him since he was 14 years old, so very, very impressed with him and his qualities as a player.
Arsenal's David Raya there, of course, now on international duty with España. Don Hutchison is back with us, but Jules, let me start with you. What stood out to you from what Raya had to say?
I thought it was really interesting about the love of defending, the art of defending. The Arsenal defence is clearly something else. I know Sunderland scored twice, and to be fair, the boys were very disappointed. Not so much you can concede 2 goals in a game. It can happen. You can face a team that scores a great goal, and there's nothing even the best defenders in the world could do about it. However, the 2 goals at Sunderland were both really avoidable if you think about them. The first one is a long ball. Rice doesn't win the duel. Gabriel is a bit short on the second ball. The second goal, I'm not sure Raya needs to come out the way he does. Gabriel is outmuscled by Brobbey. So there are 2 goals that would have been really frustrated for them, because usually they're very good in those situations. So a lot still shows that there's a lot to work for, again, to avoid those kind of goals in the few more games. But they, even with that draw and the 2 goals conceded against Sunderland, it's still a very good start of the season considering who they played against, and especially the away games in that list of fixtures. Really. And on Max Dowman, it's funny because, as he says, and I'm not sure if many of the people watching our show knows about that, but he can't go into the dressing room. He's too young, so he changes in another dressing room on his own, and then just joins up with the team on the pitch. He still goes to school. He came back from the Champions League game against Slavia Prague when he broke that record of the youngest ever Champions League player appearance, and the next day he had school in the morning. So it's pretty incredible.
Bless.
Well, you look at me? No, I don't.
You had a young start.
Yeah, but at 15, I was not in a professional locker room. And neither is Max, for that matter.
He can't be.
What's funny in some ways is when they ask him about, which one of the new signings has impressed you the most? And it's Martin Zubimendi. Hey, Martin, how are you?
Hey, Martin.
How's it going?
Right beside me.
Yeah, this guy right here, Martin. Yeah, well, you mean my teammate with the national team? Oh, yeah, Martin. But Martin Zubimendi has been impressive. Mm-hmm. And while he was a good player at Real Sociedad, the question was, well, can he adapt to the quote-unquote physicality of the Premier League? Can he adapt to the pace of play of the Premier League? And I think what he has proven that he's been able to do so far is that in reading the game, he's able to overcome some of that lack of speed or some of that physicality. He doesn't have to get on the duels if he's able to win the ball ahead of the duel, ahead of the fight, or if he's able to step into a passing lane that then forces the ball somewhere else. So it's not Martin Zubimendi's game to be winning 50-50 challenges. He is more of a ball player, sort of playmaker, defensive, holding midfielder, but a guy who's not interested in having this back and forth. And he does that because he's able to read the game properly. I think he has been really good for Arsenal. And I think he has impressed more people than, or has impressed people more than they would have thought he would add to this team. Has added a lot.
All right, well, let's have a look at the Premier League title odds, shall we? And this probably wouldn't surprise everyone that despite dropping points this weekend, Arsenal still very much favourites to win it. And then Manchester City and Liverpool, of course, have fallen in those odds, as well as Chelsea. But forget title odds, let's be honest. We've got Don Hutchison, the Don, I love my percentages, Hutchison. So Don, hit me with some percentages now in terms of the title and the title race.
I'll keep this one very simple. Chelsea, 0. Liverpool, 0. They ain't coming back from here. And I'm going to go a genuine 50-50. But I've been waiting for this day, Alexis, for about 3 or 4 days. Ali, my friend, I did tell you the Sunderland game would be difficult for Arsenal. And you laughed me out of town. And I did say the Sunderland game and 3 London derbies on the spin would be the test for Arsenal. So big up Sunderland. They deserve their point. Title race, 50-50.
I feel like I have to respond since...
You do.
My name was brought up.
Shots are fired.
Right. First, I am flattered that I am so comfortable living in Don's head that he's been thinking about this for 3 or 4 days just to get the opportunity to say this. And my point was then as it is now. If Arsenal's shortcomings in getting to the title is because they couldn't get a result at Sunderland, they have bigger issues. That cannot be the explanation as to why they don't win the title. There will be bigger games for Arsenal in the future than away at Sunderland. As good a start as Sunderland has had, and as good a result as that was for Sunderland, that is not enough to climb up to the level of this is why Arsenal won't win a title. And if that's the case, again, I repeat, they have bigger issues.
Well, Jules, we talked about this on the show the other day, the fact that Manchester City have chased down Arsenal before and how sometimes it is easier to chase than to lead. Arsenal have been in this situation before and have lost out to City. Don now, though, is saying that it's 50-50 for either of them to win the title. Do you really think it's that close?
I was at City on Sunday for the Liverpool game. It's the first time that I saw them live this season. Usually it's on television. I was very impressed by what I saw from City, the tactical evolution from Guardiola, what he's implementing to this team, the overloaded midfield, the positioning of Doku, the form of Foden and Bernardo Silva, plus Haaland. Obviously, while Cherki is still finding his feet a little bit, but getting there, I think this could turn into a very, very good season for Manchester City, or certainly a very good team again from City, far from what we saw at this stage last year, for example. So that's the first thing I wanted to say. I still think that Arsenal have to be favourite because they're 4 points clear to start with, because they've played City already, albeit at the Emirates, but we've already had a game between them two, and both have played Liverpool too. So I think this is a decent advantage for Arsenal to have more than a quarter into the season already. But I think it would be very tight. I would give it maybe 60-40 for Arsenal, but I think at the end of the season, City and Arsenal will be very close to each other.
Oh, wow, how everyone has changed their song.
Well, you know why Don settled on 50-50.
Why?
He doesn't have to do math.
Jules did some math.
No. It was a tiny little bit deeper than that, Ali. It was. I mean, you are correct in the math. I'll give you that. But there's a little bit of method to the madness. I mean, this is a side that hasn't won the title for 21 years. And they've got Man City chasing them down, who's done this twice to them already. So, yeah, I think we're going to be in for the most amazing title race.